I never meant to become the villain in my own son's story. I only ever wanted to be the hero. My name is Barbara Jean McAllister, 72 years old, widow of 31 years, and until last month, the proud owner of a 5-bedroom cedar and stone lake house on the Sunrise side of Crystal Lake, Michigan. I say owner because the deed still reads Barbara J. McAllister in black and white, even though for the last 6 years, my son Cody and his wife Kaylee have been living in it, raising my 2 granddaughters in it, and according to the glossy new real estate listing I stumbled across at 2:17 a.m., trying to sell it right out from under me for $890,000 cash. I bought the house in 2018 with every dime of the 401k my late husband Tom and I had scrimped together over 43 years at the Traverse City General Motors plant. Tom died of a heart attack 2 weeks after he retired. The doctors said stress. I said guilt. He never got to enjoy a single day of the retirement we dreamed about on that porch swing we never bought. So, when Cody and Kaylee set it house hunting and fell in love with the lake place, I did what any grieving mother who suddenly had a 7-figure lump sum would do. I wrote the check. All of it. $650,000. Closing costs, new dock, the whole thing. I told them it was an early inheritance, so the girls will always have a place on the water. They hugged me, cried, called me the best mom in the world, promised Sunday dinners every week, holidays, long weekends, the works. For 6 summers, I waited for an invitation that never came. Year 1, it's chaos with the move, Mom, next year. Year 2, the girls have swim lessons every weekend. Year 3, COVID. Year 4, we're doing a big kitchen reno, total construction zone. Year 5, Kaylee's sister's staying the whole month of July. Year 6, silence. I still drove up twice a summer anyway, parked at the public access a half-mile down Shore Drive, and watched from my Buick as my granddaughters, Ellie, now 12, Harper, 10, jumped off the end of the dock I paid for, laughing in the same clear water where Tom used to teach Cody to cast for smallmouth bass when he was 8. I never hunked, never texted, just sat there with a thermos of coffee until the sun got too hot, then drove the 2.5 hours home to the little ranch in Kalkaska that suddenly felt smaller every year. Last month, I couldn't sleep. Happens when you're 72 and your hips sound like bubble wrap. I opened Facebook at 2 in the morning for the first time in months, and there it was, pinned to the top of Cody's profile like a trophy kill. Bittersweet listing. After years of incredible memories, we're selling our beloved lake house to start the next chapter in Nashville. Asking $890,000. Serious inquiries only. 87 photos. Drone shots of the dock at sunrise. The kitchen island I paid to have quarried from Italian marble. Ellie and Harper on the zipline swing Tom and I used to talk about installing, but never got around to. And in not one single picture was I tagged, mentioned, or even standing in the background. I stared at the screen until the letters blurred. Then I opened the County Register of Deeds website, typed in the parcel number I still knew by heart, and felt the first cold, clear rush of clarity I'd had in 6 years. The house was still in my name. I had never signed the quitclaim deed their lawyer kept forgetting to file. I closed the laptop, walked to the kitchen, and poured myself the biggest glass of cheap Merlot I've ever allowed myself at 2:30 in the morning. I drank it on the back porch while the Michigan night pressed in, cicadas screaming like they knew what was coming. The next morning, I called Diane Kowalski. Diane and I went to high school together in '69. She used to sneak me cigarettes behind the bleachers and now owns the biggest real estate firm in Antrim County. I told her everything in one breath. She listened without interrupting, which is how I knew she was furious. "Barb," she said when I finished, You bring me that deed and a bottle of something strong, and we're gonna make some memories of our own." 3 days later, the lake house had a new listing. My listing. Price, $899,900. Cash offers only, closing in 7 days or less. Diane's photographer came the same afternoon Cody and Kaylee were in Nashville, doing a scouting trip. We changed the lockbox code, aired the place out, hid the family photos in the attic, and staged it like it had never belonged to anyone but me. By Friday night, we had 14 offers over asking. I picked the one from a lovely lesbian couple from Chicago who wanted to turn it into a writer's retreat. They wired a $200,000 non-refundable deposit before breakfast on Saturday. Cody found out Sunday night when the lockbox wouldn't open and the security cameras that I had installed quietly 2 years ago and never told them about started sending alerts to my phone instead of his. He called me 37 times between 8:02 p.m. and midnight. I let everyone go to voicemail. Monday morning, I drove north with the original deed folded in my purse like a loaded gun. The closing was set for 11 a.m. Wednesday at Northern Title in Elk Rapids. Diane told me Cody and Kaylee had threatened to bring their own attorney and stop the sale. I told her to let them come. I arrived 20 minutes early, wearing the navy suit I wore to Tom's funeral and the pearl earrings he gave me on our 25th anniversary. I wanted to look like a woman who had already buried one man she loved and was perfectly prepared to bury the idea of another. At 10:57, the conference room door flew open. Cody stormed in first, face red, hair uncombed, wearing the same University of Michigan hoodie he'd had since 2008. Kaylee followed in yoga pants and oversized sunglasses like she was dodging paparazzi. Behind them came a young attorney in a shiny suit who looked barely old enough to rent a car. "Mom, what the hell is this?" Cody shouted before he even sat down. People in the lobby turned to stare. I smiled the way my own mother taught me when telemarketers called during supper. "Good morning, Cody, Kaylee. This is my closing. You're welcome to watch." The attorney, Tyler Buchanan, according to his business card, started sputtering about fraud, undue influence, elder abuse, something about a constructive trust. I waited until he ran out of oxygen. "Tyler," I said gently, "do you have a deed that shows Cody or Kaylee McAllister as owners of 1287 North Shore Drive?" He opened a folder, frowned, shuffled papers. "No," he admitted. "Then sit down and zip it, sweetheart." Diane slid the title commitment across the table. Clean. No liens. My name only. The closer, a nice woman named Pam, who'd closed my ranch purchase in 1994, cleared her throat. "Mrs. McAllister, we have certified funds wired from the buyers. If you'll just sign here." I signed. Barbara J. McAllister, in the same careful Catholic school cursive I'd used since 4th grade. Cody lunged across the table. "Mom, you can't do this. That's our home, the girls." "The girls," I said, capping my pen, "will be just fine in whatever apartment you can afford in Nashville. Children are resilient. I hear the public schools are excellent." Kaylee started crying, big, theatrical sobs that would have worked on me 5 years ago. Today, they sounded like dollar signs. "You're stealing from your own grandchildren," she wailed. I stood up slowly, knees popping. "No, Kaylee, I'm stealing from 2 grown adults who decided their convenience was worth more than their mother's life savings. There's a difference." I looked at my son, really looked at him, for the first time in years. He had Tom's eyes, but none of his backbone. "Cody," I said, voice low enough that only he could hear, "your father worked 60-hour weeks for 38 years, so that one day we could sit on that porch and watch the sun come up over the water together. He died before he ever got the chance. I gave it to you instead. 6 years, not one sunrise with your mother, not one." His mouth opened, closed. Nothing came out. I picked up my purse. "The buyers take possession Friday at noon. Anything left behind will be donated to Goodwill. I believe there is a very nice set of patio furniture you might recognize." I walked out without looking back. That night, I booked a one-way flight to Sarasota, condo on Siesta Key, Gulf view, ground floor so my hips don't complain. Closing date, same day Cody and Kaylee were supposed to close on their Nashville dream house. I moved in 3 weeks later with 2 suitcases and a heart that finally, blessedly, felt light. The first postcard I sent them was simple. Front, a photo of the most perfect orange-pink sunset you've ever seen. Back, in my handwriting, made some memories of my own. Love, Mom. I never put a return address. Sometimes I sit on my new balcony and watch dolphins chase mullet through the pass. Sometimes I drive up to Anna Maria Island and eat coconut shrimp at the sandbar the same way Tom and I did on our honeymoon in 1975. Sometimes I cry, not for the money, but for the little boy who used to fall asleep on my chest while the Tigers game played on the radio. But mostly, I laugh, because for the first time in my life, every sunrise is mine. Every sunset belongs to no one but me and the Gulf of Mexico. And if Cody and Kaylee ever work up the courage to call, they'll find my old Michigan number's been disconnected. There's a new name on the mailbox in Siesta Key now. Barbara Jean McAllister, owner. Finally, truly, and forever.